It's alright if I'm early, right? Little jazz there. Alright, let me just see. I have to move this and go over here, and there we are. What's up, dudes? Alright. Well, there you go. What's up, dudes? You know how the sound is. Too loud, too soft, too whatever. It's up. See, in Milford, New Zealand, and Louisiana, there's 3 different spots on the earth, huh? Michigan, Montreal. Of course, Terry. What's up, Matt? Paul? Scott? Daniel? You made it, Chris. You finally made it. Hey, what's up across the pond? It's just nice to see you up. And, of course, Big Jim. What's up, buddy? Yeah, having a pretty good summer. The Central Air works again. That's always huge. New Jersey. Gotta hit that. What's up, Tactical? Mr. Bissy? Dan down in Southwest Florida. And Melwood Blues from Indiana. What's up, Ben? I was on Ben's show a couple of weeks ago. Nice PEI, Prince Edward Island. You guys make a hell of a muscle. Prince Edward Island mussels. Steve, you gonna demo that Viper tonight? I might. Don't tempt me. I'll do it. I'll do it. Shut up. It's been hot and dry in New Jersey, but now we're getting rain. Yeah, it's been hot and dry the last couple of days, but the rain tomorrow. You're just getting it today. It's making its way here. My wife is down in Pennsylvania. Took my daughter to go see Kesha at some big stadium, and it's being like poured on. They'll have the show anyway. I guess it's rain or shine, but they had to get ponchos. It's gonna be a wet show. What's up, Will from NYC? Steve, your thoughts on whether better to get a Fender player or a Fender standard Strat? Well, you gotta remember that they don't make the standard anymore. And in fact, if you really think about it, the player is to take a lot of that stuff from the standard, just make it into a Mexican model. So they basically, with the new Pro, right, the American Pro and the American Elite, the standard, the American standard was gone. And so, there was actually kind of a demand for that particular lineup. And so they came out in Mexico with the Player Series, and it's like, instead of ceramic, it's Alnico pickups, just like the American Standard would be. Instead of 6 bolts, it's 2 poles, just like the American Standard. Instead of 21 frets, like the Mexis always were, it's 22 frets, right? And so it's checking all these boxes. It's very much like the old American Standard. To me, I think they were kind of filling, after they got rid of the Standard and came out with the Pro, they were sort of just like filling in the gap for people who missed the Standard. What's up, Jablonski? I actually ran into your guitars in the back room the other day. I was like, oh my god, that's right, these guitars. Some year. I'm targeting 2019. What's up, Owen from Atlanta? Man, you can hardly hear me? Yeah, is that true? Am I down a little bit? Let me know. I can crank up the volume a little bit. Is that a little better? Bring my headphones down. What's up, Thunder Buddy? That a little better? I'll say one thing about Framus. They are like the most intonated guitars I've ever played. They are just so freaking spot on. Yeah, the Yamahas, right? All right, maybe 2020. What's up, Michael? What's up, Steve? How's your summer going? It's going pretty good. I tell you, I've learned to manage summer quite well, more than I used to. And it's really a two-pronged approach. One, try and stay in air conditioning as much as possible. And number two, put an unholy beat down on insects in my yard. That has really changed it for me because, I'm not a big fan of the bug. And I have a very, very small parcel of land, like in a percentage basis of the earth. There's a lot of space relative to my tiny patch. And so all I ask is just skip this small segment of area. And to enforce the rules, I lay down a spray of some of the most toxic bug spray. And boy, it works. It really, really works. I should do a whole video just on like what I've learned. It took about 5 years to really like figure out like what works with what. So like if it was, I'd treat an active, like my in-laws have this right now. They have a really large active wasp nest, paper wasp nest, from underneath their pool, from like the side of their pool that they don't really use. And it's like really out of control. I'm sure that thing on the inside is pretty damn big. So I can treat that with something that won't make them go all crazy like they're burning and, whatever. But within about 48 hours, it will slaughter that entire nest. It's vicious. Right? Is that what Fajo said? It's vicious. And then for a general spray, I like to use Bifin. I think, for mosquitoes, it's incredible. It's so good. You just don't spray the flowers because it's a total dick move. Just avoid flowers. Now, wasps go on to a lot of crevices and stuff, so you don't even need to spray flowers to get rid of wasps. But it's been good for ants. My house used to be overrun with everything. God, what didn't we have? It's like a freaking ecosystem. But now it's relatively bug-free. I gotta say, it's pretty barren in here. It's like the surface of Mars. How are you today? I'm doing good, man. So my summer's been going good because I've really been putting the beat down with the bug spray. And our air conditioning has been fixed and working pretty well. So, you know, that checks 2 enormous boxes for me as to how my summer goes. And it hasn't been crazy hot. We had a little spell there for a little while where we had like 1 week, pretty much like we have in winter. We have 1 week where it's crazy cold. We have 1 week that's crazy hot, you know, like in the 90s every day and super muggy, humid, like just completely disgusting air. But then it blew out of here, and then now it's oscillating back and forth. It's been dry, it's been muggy, so it's been dry the last couple of days, but here come the muggies and the rains again, you know, and eventually that'll oscillate down to lower temperatures and a lot more drier air. So I think we're past the peak of summer around here for sure. No beverage today? No, today I'm doing coffee. I have the coffee. What's up, Mr. BHB Jr.? AZADDH says, please tell me you're not going to discuss Philip McKnight. That guy is way too overexposed on YouTube. No, I would never discuss him. Though he is pretty awesome. I do know Phil quite a bit. And he's a good guy, man. Smart guy. And I wouldn't say he's overexposed. I'd say he's exposed exactly what he's earned. Sorry. This is TH3. I think this is called like Crunchy Crunch or Crunchy Crank. Crunchy Crank. This is a plexi, completely dimed, and the bright switch on. The presence at 12 o'clock, the density at like 2 o'clock, and the master at 12 o'clock, and everything else dimed. And we have a Randall cab. And a little reverb. Little reverb. I don't know what pickups these are. I gotta think that they're in-house, right? This is their German made, so like I think when it comes to pickups, I think they're using their own in-house pickup. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be Duncan's for all I know, but they're not marked anything on the outside, on the front anyway. What model frame is? This is a Panthera 2 electric boogaloo. Hold there we go. Just so I can see myself. Yeah. Pretty good. And, oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Sorry about that. And the back with the laser etching. It looks good with this new cam, huh? I'm loving the picture I'm seeing on this. That's pretty realistic to what I would normally, to what I'm seeing with my eyeballs. So that's good. I think the color is correct, and it's pretty sharp. And unlike the blank, which was a vintage style neck, you can read that as like 50s. This is much more of a slim taper. You can read that more like 60s. It's a much slimmer neck. This is my style neck. As soon as I took it out, I was like, oh, nice. This is really nice. I really, really like this. And this is, their flash lacquer and all that stuff. They have this ultraviolet lacquer that cures in like 15 seconds. It's crazy. And it's like super hard. It's like they were taking like car keys and like rubbing it over the surface, and it was staying pretty, pretty good, pretty clear. Yeah, it does have some pretty crazy contours, huh? And it's a nice top. That's nice. It really is. And it's, it's obviously a maple cap with a mahogany neck and a mahogany body. And it's got like the nice high-end ratio tuners. And I think they're in-house pickups. Where's Krellbar? Come on. He's my Mr. Data. And it's got a coil cut right there. Hear when I kicked it on right there. No, it's not $6,000. You're looking at the master built. It's like half that. $6,000. I oughta. That's a huge screw up, Mr. Data. Peter asks, is it yours or a loan? This is a loaner. What kind of amps am I liking right now? I tell you, I fired up the Viper the other day, and it was sounding pretty awesome. I love the Hughes and Kettner, and I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder here. I have the recent Katana, which is pretty awesome. A hard drive crashed. Damn it. Missed the data. You're like intelligence on Team America. Just a second. We're checking that right now. This coffee's good. I also have 2 more new guitars nearby. They did arrive today. Hey, what's up, Andrew? I should do the Viper review and like make a Patreon and make it like the highest tier. Be like $1,000 Patreon to see the Viper review. What's up, Moto? See, they dropped the price of the Viper Pro by $100. Yeah, well, first of all, that's pretty common with almost every technology out there. That after it's out for a little bit, it tends to drop. Things that are technological in nature. Just because the chips get cheaper, it literally becomes cheaper to build. But you're probably not too far off in that they felt the Katana was a little threat. But it's not really, because the Katana doesn't have nearly as many options as the Viper. They're very different. The Katana is a killer amp. It sounds amazing. It's like like an amazing bedroom. You know, it's even a good jamming amp out because it can get loud enough with 100 watts. That said, when you compare it to the sheer number of models on the Viper, that Viper really does sound good, and it's got a lot more models and a lot more effects and a lot more going on simultaneous, and it's got an LCD screen and a couple of dials you can work. It's very easy to edit and move around. It's got an amazing foot switch that can be paired with it. So in a very real sense, the Viper does have a lot going on for it. Thing about the Katana is that it's one of the few solid-state amps that doesn't, go to complete shit when you crank it up. Actually sounds okay because of the way they work their Class AB power amp. It softens the blow, for a solid-state amp. It's pretty damn good. So, yeah. What's up, Grunge Kid? What other 2 guitars you can get? Well, you can see a little bit of one right there. How's that for tease? Does the Katana come in a head form? I think it does. I think they make a 100 watt head. I think it's a 50 watt combo, 100 watt combo, 100 watt head, and 100 watt 212. I think it's still 100 watts though. And then the Artist, which is Is it more than 100 watts? I thought it was 100. It could be 150, but I don't think so. I still think it's 100 watts. It just adds more features and has more Waza DNA on it. The hell was that? A lot of Vola talk out there. Oh, let's see. Steve, what's a good lefty guitar? That's tricky. That I have a couple of lefty friends, and boy, I see they suffer. Anything from the major brands out there like Fender and Gibson are usually pretty decent. But it's hard. It's hard. You might find a decent Carvin out there. They've done a lot of lefty models. Really, the main players like Fender and Gibson, because they've been pretty good about making lefties. Lefties are tricky. PRS is notoriously down on lefties. There's a couple of brands out there that they're like, there's no left-handed pianos. So, you have a little bit of leftism out there. What's up, Sean? Steve just got home playing a gig here in Wales, late night, food, guitar. Little chat chill. You got it, buddy. Yeah, I have a friend who's like a lefty collector, and he's like, it's insane. He's like, they'll come out with like a, some like, incredibly popular model, and they might make like literally like 20 lefties, and he goes, some like signature models, they don't make any. He goes, like whole lines are just skipped, that they just don't make it in a lefty. It's hard. Being a lefty is hard. There's not a lot of stock out there, and when you find it, it's it's often expensive, just because it's rare. That buddy of mine who's lefty and collects, he's got a couple of guitars. He goes, I swear there's only like 4 or 5 of these made. They just didn't make them in lefty. There's thousands righty and like 5 lefties because they just didn't do them in lefty. What's your favorite Telly style guitar? That's a good question. Lately, I've been digging the brand new Fender Original series, which is their new sort of AVRI. So it's lacquer, it's vintage appointments and all that stuff. It's a higher end. They run around $2,000. But they make it's called like the Telly Original Custom. It's like the custom, Telecaster Custom. And they make them in a couple of colors, but the 2 colors that really stick out are the Fiesta Red and the Lake Placid Blue. And let me tell you, that Lake Placid Blue with that white binding is sublime. I'm a fan. But, we'll see. Because they just come out, and when something just comes out, about 2 years later, a year to 2 years later is really the sweet spot to get those used. So, like, for the longest time, you couldn't find my Telecaster, my one with the rosewood neck out there. Cut to about a year ago, you started seeing them show up on the market. You'd see them here or there, but they wouldn't last long. Now I see there's 3 or 4 of them up there, and the price is going down from $12.50 down to $10.99. Because there's just more of them out there. And that is, you'll see that there's almost like a little bubble that happens after a guitar gets introduced. because people buy them and they fall out of love with it and they start to show up in the market. Eventually, that bubble fades. And a great example of this, a great example is like that Squire 60th anniversary that was all gold. You guys remember that one from a few years ago? Like maybe 5 years ago, I think it came out. And it was like a gold, Aztec gold, not even Aztec gold. I think it was regular gold. It was not Shoreline. Yeah, maybe it was Aztec gold. It was they have a couple of lines of gold, and one of them looks more silver than gold. It was the one that was it was the gold one. And they came out with like I want to say a Strat and a Squire Strat, right? Well, a few years ago, like 2 years after that came out, they were everywhere for like short money. And now they're like shot back up in money again, and they're much harder to find out there. You just don't see them on the used market as much because it's sort of like the dust settles, right? They come out on the market, there's a quiet period, then there's a bunch of churn where people who weren't happy with them, they put them out on the market, and then eventually that sort of wears off. So I noticed that the rosewood necked Strats and Tellys, because they were a big thing about 2 years ago, they're all up on, I see them used like increasingly in the last, say, 6 months. And right now there's a whole bunch up there. The TC Electronic make the Pussy Melter, or there's some out there. So Pussy Melter is not an effects pedal. That's the biggest misconception out there. It is not an effects pedal. Where is it? I have the effect. Because another Steel Panther-ish guy, I probably can't reach that, from years ago, and by that I mean last fall, made his own tone print. There you go. Boop. Here we go. Damn it. I'm back. Okay, that's the pedal. That's the pedal. All right, that's Pussy Melter. Gaze at it in all its glory. All right. So what it is you have to do a little Steel Panther intro. What it is much like Pixie Licks and Phil McKnight, with a bunch of other people. I think Tone King did one. You can make your own patch. These are actually programmable. And Satchel named his patch Pussy Melter. It was the name of the patch he created for it. That's it. And the patch is probably out there somewhere. It grew at a geometric rate. But that's the pedal. It's a delay pedal called the Flashback. So they call their patches tone prints. A lot of people saying it's a tone print. Yeah, that's a fancy way of saying patch. It's like thumbprint, right? It's your signature, right? Right. It's tone print, but tone print is basically a way of saying. I tell you what's cool about it is you can load the tone print app in your phone, and you can literally hold it up to the pickup on your guitar, and it will chirp out the patch, bleep, bloop, blurp, flurp, like something straight out of Dick Tracy, and it will program the unit for you. Pretty good. Oh, thanks, Bubba. Would you play to? Oh, I think he means pay. Would you pay $2,500 for a '74 Black Strat? That sounds about right for a '74 Black Strat. Or a PRS Silver Sky? That's a good question. Well, I can tell you this. I would try out that Black Strat because the 70s weren't kind years for Strats. 74, though, they haven't really gone to complete garbage yet, but they're getting there. It probably has a pretty thin fingerboard on it and probably pretty small frets on it. You want to check that out, because I had a 72 Strat, or a 73. I think I had a 73. And it was a bit of a nightmare to play. And the frets wore out really quickly because they were known to use really cheap materials. So, if you're going to get a 74 Black Strat that's going to need work, and that could run you a few $100s more, or maybe even more if it needs a refret, than the Silver Sky all day. Without a doubt. Because it's, plug and play. That guitar is brand new. It's going to play awesome. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And, it's sort of like a, buy and go. Where the 74 Black Strat, it depends. How well was it cared during its life, Is that your guitar you just loaning? It's just a loaner. But I have a couple others. Should we switch guitars? What time is it? 7:35. Wow. Feels like 7:15. You need coffee. I just had one. Maybe I do need another one. Pussy Melter's Dick Tracy's girlfriend. No, wouldn't that be the that would be the villainess in any James Bond movie, right? Pussy Melter. Wait a second. I forget it now. Oh, is PDX here? Is my buddy PDX here? Hold on. I'm just backing out. Oh, yeah. There he is. He's saying, good point, Krellbar. Krellbar does make a lot of good points. I am tired. Like I said, my wife is away. They're going to see Kesha down in Pennsylvania, and I know it's raining down there. Oop. All right. So, I can mute this, right? How can I mute this? I think I just got to turn that right there. Yeah, that way you won't get the popping of the ears. I think I'll go with this one. Oh, God. Ow. I'm getting tennis everything. Tennis elbow, tennis shoulder, tennisitis. My arm was killing me yesterday. I'm like, why the hell is my arm killing me? And I remembered I couldn't get my whatchamacallit, power washer going. And I spent a good 30 minutes trying to get that thing started. All right, let's go back out of here. Yeah, so we got this one. Voila. I totally know how they do that. You know how they do that? I know how they do that. Took me a little while to figure it out, but I've totally got it figured out. I've totally got it figured out. But they use an ash body or an ash top over a mahogany body with a maple neck. Maybe you hit the mute button. Durr. How many times am I going to do that? Right? That doesn't sound right. Well, I might have something. Off here. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I got it. Sorry. Sorry for all the tilt-a-whirl. I probably should have tried this before I took it out, but that has to go a hair like that. And that definitely has to go a hair like that. And there you go. Alright, so that's definitely the humbucker. Nope. Yep. Do I have a... Nope. Just gonna bring that up with hair. Yep. I'm gonna bring that up here. We're gonna bring this up. Just talks amongst yourselves. Already. Alright, I'm gonna bring this up just a tiny bit more. And I can see that this is off a hair. Alright, there we go. Little instant tune-up. It's got big fret markers on the side. Someone's asking about fret markers on the side. No, it's got markers. I don't know if you can see them though, because oh, there they are. They're coming in a little bit right there. When I get too close, it's just too bright. And there they are. See them? See them around here? Alright. Had a bit of a bum. Do I have this? I have it set up right. Am I hitting? I think I'm hitting. I'm trying to figure these switches out. I don't know what the switches do. So I could be in either parallel or phase something. Out of phase. What you try to do is you say which is the thickest, and that's usually cereal, right? That sounds a little thinner versus... Plus, this action is ridiculously low. I hate that. What's with the low action? That's what's killing me more than anything. I'm just going to back this out just a hair more. Already it sounds a million times. And I think the pickups, I don't know who adjusted the pickups. This is a guitar that's been sent around a little bit. So whoever had it last, Robert Baker, was like, the pickups are too close and hitting my pick. And they move the pickups away, but then they're too far away. It's already so much beefier. I mean, please. What a difference. Green Meanie has it right. Now the next guy will say the action sucks. He will. He will. That's sorry. Sorry. Yeah. What a difference. I do like that top though, right? It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. You know how they do it? It's sort of like a reverse magic. The old magic paper trick, right? Where but it's reverse that. So I think how they're doing it is they're laying down a very thick coat of black, and then they put down a very thin coat of the multicolor, right? Which gets down into the grooves, and then they take a very light sandpaper, or steel wool, whatever, and they sand off the color from the front back down to the black, but the stuff that's down in the grooves doesn't get hit by the sandpaper, and boom, mystery solved. You almost got away with it, but you think you like the super distortions? Yeah. All right. What do we like? We can go. That's crunchy crunch, crunchy crank, crunchy crank, crunchy crank. That's crunchy crank for those keeping score at home. If you're scoring this. That is dual heavy rate. I like this guitar. The neck is actually not as thin as you think. This is a This is actually, I think, a tiny bit thicker than that Framus. Not a lot. I mean, we're talking thousandths of an inch here, but I can feel it. Having just come from that guitar. Yeah. It's round. It's a very round neck. If you like them round. I like big necks and I cannot lie. It's not a big neck, though. Trust me. Like, compared to like a Gibson 50s or something like that, it's, we're not. You know what this is like? It's kind of like a Jackson. Yeah, see, Green Meanie, I think you got it right. Right? It's like a round Gibson. It's like a soloist, right? A flatter top with a rounder back. It doesn't sound twangy anymore. You got to remember that he's saying, Krellbar saying, doesn't sound twangy anymore. That other one was a plexi. It was just a plexi amp, where this is like an Engel. You don't love the finish on this? How dare you? It's an outrage. You calling my kid ugly? Is that what you calling my kid ugly? Jesus. Anytime back, Steve. I was talking about that. I don't really know any, he came out like by the time Pantera. See, I knew Pantera where they had the old singer. When they got the new singer and they really blew up, I had already at that point sort of, that's 1991. I'm 25, so sorry. I'm a little older, and I'm listening to like, I know what I was listening to at that time. It was a lot of John Scofield and Mike Stern. Like. Wish I could play like him. I can't. It's like. And Stern was like. And what else did he do? Like a. And it was like. Good luck with that. Some Dream Evil. Any Dio? Yeah. Do I know Dream Evil, though? I don't think I know that one. Let me think. What else did he do? It was like, what was Holy Diver? Or was it? Tiger. That's there by 96, yeah. See, I never really even got into them because they just came just a hair late, you know. And I totally remember in the late 80s, early 90s, especially like 90 and 91, I was in a huge James Brown phase, just listening to James Brown, like, just non-stop, you know. You know. And Larry Carlton. In fact, he was at that Roland event. I didn't run into him, but someone else said they ran into him there. A couple people said he was there that night, and I was like, damn, I wish I ran into Larry Carlton. Right, he had that tune. Which is basically Room 335. Damn, Michael. Wait a second, hold on. No question, buddy? Damn. I'm feeling guilty over here, buddy. David Wallman plays Evola. Yeah, this might have come from him. This might have been, go look through David's videos and look for like this circle here with the circle and the circle and the circle and, you know, that mark, and see if he's got this exact one there. Yeah, I hope that wasn't 10 by accident, because I can't. That's happened in the past where a dude was trying to send 10 and he sent 100. Yeah, the PRS fund. In fact, I've been looking at that lately. The PRS fund is up to, at last count, $922, and that's if you add up everything since the start of Super Chat. Whether people said it was for the PRS fund or not, right? Just no matter what. If you add up just all the Super Chats from the inception of Super Chat, and we had already been talking about the PRS by then, so I think we can just go from the start of Super Chat. But from the start of Super Chat to present, it's $922. So we're getting there. $100 is a good segue to a guitar. Yeah, are we switching guitars again? Is it time to switch guitars again? I mean, I'll do it. Don't tempt me. I mean, I'll do it. I'll totally do it. What do you say? I think I'm missing something here. Hold on, just going back through. Okay, so Mike wrote serious. I don't know what you mean by serious. Very serious. All right, I'm seeing a lot of people say, Switch, how much is this guitar? You know, that's a good question. I'm going to have to ask Mr. Data to look that up. Mr. Data. And don't come back with 6,000, you bastard. It wasn't 6,000. Every 6,000's every. You give that every answer. All right, so that was this one. I think they're like 2,500. No, am I wrong? $3,000, 2,500. They're made in Japan. In Japan. All right, so this one's going back up on the wall. We're gonna put this one. Oh, you know what? I should probably turn it off. Let's see. I'm gonna hit the old mute button. All right, so that's off. And this is going up here. And you know what? This already has the mic on it. I gotta take the. This one I think is way out of tune, or it was tuned by that dude Hunter from Agufish. It's probably tuned to like Z flat. Those kids with their pesky tunings. It's pesky. This is your standard mahogany body. So that was a set neck, and this is a bolt-on. And that one, I don't think that one was a gloss headstock, right? I think it was a matte headstock. And this is a, it's poplar. It's a poplar burl. That's how we would say it up in Boston. It's a wicked poplar burl. Oh my God. Problem is, did I plug it in? I didn't. Problem is, I didn't plug it in. All right. I gotta get that. I gotta plug it in. I have to unmute this. And then this is gonna be like a fart. Oh, the kids with their Z flat. All right, how's it look? You know, it doesn't look too bad. Oh, the crazy kids with their crazy tunings. That's crazy. It's all right. I don't fear the Floyd. Don't fear the Floyd, okay? The Floyd is your friend. All right, I can tell already. Yeah. Hey, we got a problem. Oh, yeah. Whoa! Dude! Damn. That's crazy, man. Man. That's crazy, Michael. I'm feeling a little guilty over here. You just now I feel like I should be doing something other than tuning. We might just go with D flat on this one, guys. She's gonna blow. Yeah, Michael's gonna put me over the edge tonight for my... Oh, yeah, we got problems. Do I have the correct screwdriver right in my reach? I do not. I gotta claw down the claw. It's a claw down. Hold on. Oh. My foot. Michael, you think about what you need me to do. All right. So this is easy enough. This isn't too hard. So I'm having the bridge pull up, right, because I'm tuning it up. And so what I have to do is I just have to push down those claws a little bit on the back because it's too much. It's too much. And luckily for me, it's an open back. I can get in there and give it a nice little... There's a trick for doing this. Where you use a wedge. I should do a video on it. It's an old technique. I did not invent this technique. But there's an old technique. Perfect. Oh, I love it. Perfect. There's an old technique where you use a wedge block on the back of the tremolo. And with the wedge block in position, you tune it, you get it up to pitch, up to tune, and you wedge the tremolo in the correct horizontal position using a wedge, right? So you can move the wedge, and as you move the wedge, the block in the back will tilt the bar up and, the plate up and down, depending on where you put the wedge. So you just get it so it's flat, you tune it up, and then later on you put the springs back in it, you screw the claw out, you put the springs back in it, and you just tighten up the springs until the wedge falls out, and boom, you are instant. It's done. There's no having to think about it. It's an old technique that's been around forever, pretty much since floating trems. But for a Floyd Rose, it's a godsend. This is going to be a little tricky, and this is going to go crazy sharp when I put the screws back down, because this needs a plate in the back. They should put a plate back here. I could feel the strings getting pushed a hair. And that's why we use retention bars. Those retainer bars. It's to push the string down. Yeah. That's all right. That's actually not too bad at all. Just a hair. Just let it do its work. Oh, that's a little sharp. It's not perfect. Yeah, so the reason why you have a bar behind here is so that when you take the tension off, what if the string is over the back of the bar? It almost, the back of the nut, it almost always is. So as you tighten it down, you push the string out of tune. So to get around that, you have a bar back here that it has to loop under. That way it's always pulling down when it gets out the ass end of this nut. Right? It's always pushing down in the downward direction so that it's always pressing hard against the plate. Right? You need it to press against this top plate so that when you screw this down, you're just squishing it between the plate and you're not actually moving the string. If the string is up off the plate in any degree, as you screw it down, you're going to make the string go tight. It feels a little out in there. All right, that's probably pretty good. Oh, man. Steve, isn't Craig? I think you mean Greg from Acacia Guitar involved with Villa. Yeah, I think he helps with their American distributing. They're a Japanese company, and they need contacts in America. And because of his work with Acacia Guitars, he's just, he knows the industry. So he helps them with distribution. It's such a heavy guitar. It's so nice. The angled headstocks don't need the bar. I know what you're saying, but you know what? This one kind of did, Green Meaning. Because when I took it off, I could feel it pushing up from the bottom. In other words, it was off the plate, but it still had some tension on it because of the string. So maybe a little bit lower profile tuning pegs might do it, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, that's some pretty good tune. Johnny Beans here. Hey, what's up, Johnny? So, special extra super thanks to Michael Stanton. Dude, if you got any requests, I will attempt to oblige. right? Something like that. I gotta check. I think you're right, MB215. Stevie, you self-taught? No, not really. I've done a lot of self-teaching, trust me, but I've taken lessons for many years from many different teachers, especially when I was younger. Where does the money go? Well, eventually it comes to me, but it has to make a pit stop at YouTube where they take out their cut, but I think they're being a little bit better about that recently. Oh, jeez, I'm hitting my foot on my thing. I think these strings, they look brand new. I'm going to guess these are brand new strings. There we go. Oh, hold on. Let me just check these right here. Steve, what kind of PRS are you looking for? I can tell you one that caught my eye recently. Right now on Guitar Center Used, they have a custom 24 in crimson red. It's a gorgeous flame top. I want to say they had it up there for like $21.99, and now it's $500 off, and it's down to $16.99. It's a 10 top. And it is freaking gorgeous. Just check out it's on Guitar Center Used. Like I said, I think it's crimson red. It's a looker, but can't do it quite right now. Though Michael is really giving the fund a boost. Thanks, buddy. That is like huge. What effects pedal am I using right now? I'm not using any effects pedal right now. I'm going through TH3. And let me just call the old Patcheroonie up. So this is a DV Mark and an Engel Fireball dual amp into a stereo delay, a digital reverb, and a Marshall vintage style cab. I might have to do a little bit of work on this in terms of that sounds good. I just heard another giant boom out there. There it is. runs out. It's pretty close. Right there. So that sounds in tune to me. It's staying in tune. I like this neck though. It's nice. That's a nice neck. Just that if I had to guess, it was all detuned when I got it. So if I had to guess, and these strings look brand new. I think they slapped a new set of strings on it and like didn't tune it up right before they sent it to me. Did I lock these? Yeah, I locked them. Because that'll do it. Eventually it'll settle in. Are there switches on this one? Pull stuff? Any pull stuff? Anything? Anything? Bueller? Nothing? Alright. And is it a 5? It's a 5-way. Alright, so let's switch over. Alright, so that's all the way down front here. Oh, much thinner. That must be like in parallel or something, right? Here's the middle position. Position 2. And then 1. I'm breathing into the microphone here. It sounds great though, huh? All right. Oh, hold on. What do we have here? Oh, thanks, Bubba. Still have the Ibanez 540R. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I still have the Ibanez. Yeah, absolutely. Weird, the bolt-on one sounds better. Yeah, you know, I think it's a myth that bolt-on guitars somehow lack versus their, you know, fixed neck counterparts. I actually think they sound a little different, and I don't think it's crazy to think that bolt-on necks are a little snappier for whatever reason. Maybe it's because bolt-on necks use more maple. Was that a working theory? I don't know. But yeah, I never got the whole thing about bolt-on necks being sort of inferior to set necks. You know, they seem to sound pretty good. I would say almost all of my guitars growing up, I can't really think if I had too many set neck ones. I really didn't. It was really bolt-ons. What's up, Wally's World? That's sharp 4. Meet George Jetson. Lando, can you make change for $1,000? We had a guy come in the music store one time with a $1,000 bill. He had a $1,000 bill. But that dude was crazy. He had a couple of goons with him. Yeah, at NAMM, this was my favorite guitar of theirs. It's my favorite neck profile of theirs by far. I just love this neck profile. Even more than the Blaze X, which, trust me, we're talking, again, thousandths of an inch here. But I like, this is their slimmest neck profile and the one I like the best. It's got the super smooth maple with mahogany body. It's got some weight to it. This is not a light guitar. I'm calling it north of 8. And it's 24 frets. So you get that. Can you play Floyd on a Floyd? Sure. Let's see here. Everything okay in the comments? I haven't been hold on. We can go back to dual heavy rig if that's what we like. This is contemporary blues. needs to be pink with the Floyd, right? Back to dual heavy rig. Oh, Krellbar. Krellbar's hold on. Krellbar. You've been knighted. Krellbar's pretty mellow. Till you cross him. Ah, one of these is out. Steve, what rig are you using? I just joined GH3, my normal rig, and this is dual heavy rig. When we started out tonight, we were doing a little bit different rig. We were doing this one. Goes to show you how different the Framus pickups are. These are Duncans. These are both Seymour Duncan pickups, and their darkness, their black logo tells me that they're like Pegasus or something like. Steve, do you still have your rosewood telly? I do. Sorry about all the tuning. I can just tell. These strings are brand new. All right, let's go back to our other patch. I think we all like dual heavy rig. Dual heavy rig. The Black Winter set has a black logo. Could be them. Could be them. What summer fun is happening in Beantown? Well, lobster prices are dropping through the floor. That's always good news in the middle of summer. Get your lobster rolls. Yeah, this it hasn't been a crazy summer for heat and humidity. Now, we had one really terrible week, and then it's sort of been back and forth, and every time we get some really crappy, hot, muggy weather, it breaks with some pretty good dry weather, so it hasn't been too crazy. If it was last year or the year before, we had a real long stretch of hot weather, but we only had one so far this year, and other than that, it's been sort of up and down. Connor says, should I get an RG550? Sure, they're killer. RG550s are great guitars, but make sure you get an old one. Get one of the old ones, good one. One from between 88 and 94. You know, that's like the years. Those are the years. Even 93. Play Light Up the Sky by Van Halen. Can I? It's G string. It's stretching. Something like that. Love to play some Rush. Give Terry a rim shot. You can't find the dual heavy rig? Not on look in either Experience TH3, TH3 What's New, or Classic Rock. I guarantee it's in one of those three. It's either an Experience TH3, TH3 What's New, or Classic Rock. So I have my own bank now. I went through and found patches I like, and then I just copied them and pasted them into Steve 01. Steve, thoughts on the NFT Floyd Rose? Thanks, man. Yeah, kind of an interesting new design, right? Floyd Rose, big change, right? Trying to remember the big features, but basically it's I think it's supposed to be an improvement for intonation, just an improvement like all around. It's like their first big major design, right? In a while. You get Mr. Data on that. Steve, you gonna see any rock or metal concerts this summer? No. You know who's coming to town? It's either, I think it's tonight or tomorrow night, is Andy Wood. Andy Wood's playing like this weekend, and the other Andy Timmons, is coming to town too in early August. I'd like to go to both of those shows. But you know, this I'm trying to think of any major act. You know, Panther was in town recently, and I missed them. I couldn't have gone. I had to cover for my wife. My wife's down in Pennsylvania right now. I told you she's taking my daughter to go see Kesha at like Hershey Stadium or something. So it's in I think it's near Hershey, Pennsylvania. So that's you know, she's doing all the concerts this summer. I'm trying to think if there's anyone I'm really interested. You know, I went to go see Buckethead in the spring, and that was a great concert. I'd see Buckethead if he came back again. What do you think is happening on my Charvel? It's got a weird vibration when I stay on a note on a high string on higher frets with no buzz, though. Well, it could be a rattle. You know, hit the neck and see if you're getting a rattle going on. If it is, then your truss rod just might be loose. And then what's happening is you're hitting just the right string to cause it to sympathetically rattle. That's a thing. Other than that, you know, for the same thing, you could look at a rattle on the bridge, but that's less likely. And then thirdly, just make sure it really isn't fret buzz, because, you know, usually when it's on only one string and in like one certain area, that kind of does sound like fret buzz. Play some Buckethead. Yeah, you first. I don't know any Buckethead. Anthrax at the Strand in Rhode Island. Oh, yeah? Didn't we go see Anthrax, Jablonski? Were you with me? We went to go see Anthrax. We went to go see Raven one time. And the drummer's helmet exploded, right? He did a drum solo and the front of his helmet like just completely exploded. Yeah, I think the TH3 that comes with the free Cakewalk is probably like a TH3 Lite, but it might play the patches. It depends on whether or not you have the amp installed. Like this patch uses the DV Mark and the England amp. That might not be included. They might just use their non-licensed amps in the free version because they don't have to pay out royalties. Yeah, right? Right, Jablonski, right? Wasn't that? I totally remember that. I might have been like 18 or 19, and you were younger, and we went to go see Anthrax or something. I forget, or if we went to go see Raven, I forget what it was. But we were laughing, having a lot of fun. We were having a lot of fun that night. Croc Lobster, That's actually a pretty good riff, you know. It came from Planet Claire. What do you think of the Smashing Pumpkins reunion? Yeah, you know, again, Pumpkins were a little bit after me. You know. Will you demo the PRS MT-15? Probably not, because I can't think of a way I could get one down here. Caught in the mosh, yeah. Anthrax. The best thing, one of my favorite things that Anthrax ever did was their cover of Kiss. They cover She by Kiss, and it is absolutely killer. They play it straight up, right? They play it like almost note for note, but they use a much heavier guitar sound, and it's very well produced, and it's just a really, really good cover. You got to check out Anthrax's cover of Kiss, She, the song She by Kiss. Thoughts on Derek Trucks? Amazing player. Wish I could play like him, especially that slide work. Just, Billy Corgan with his guitar strat tones. Yeah, and Corgan has that cool, like, little mini guitar, the Turs, which I think is way cool. What's up, Max Reverse? Yeah, the PRS fund had a huge boost tonight. That's crazy. Nice. Favorite slide licks? I can't play slide to save my life, but I'm gonna change that up. I gotta, my fingers are so massive. It's hard to find a good slide that really works. They're usually too small. So I'll find something. Hey, what's up, Buzz? How about some Boston Hitch a Ride? I don't know if I know Hitch a Ride, but is that it? Gonna hit you around New York, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm with Krellbar. I can't play slide, but I can certainly eat sliders. Yeah, I know. Use a mayonnaise jar. That's what I might have to. A fluff jar, right? Something like that. What's good, Viper or Katana? They're both good. Now, a lot more features on the Viper, but the Katana is a really nice amp. I think at louder volumes, maybe, than the Viper. But they're both really, really good. A lot more amps on the Viper. A lot more. The Viper is also $150 more, though. Right, so So more amps, definitely easier editing and more effects and everything on the Viper. They're both 100 watts, but 350 on the Katana and 499 on the Viper. We ever into the band Rad? Yeah, I saw Rad, and I saw them in 1985. A little band named Bon Jovi opened up. Got any Cars on your set list? Something like that. So Bon Jovi opening for the Scorps, yeah, they're killer. Only reason to get a VIP is if you want to play bass or acoustic. If not, go with the Viper Pro 100. I totally agree. Because the Viper, the VIP series, you really lose out on a lot of the best models, like the D-Rec, which is a killer model, and some of those Marshall models. So I would totally agree with that. I'd say stick with the 100. The Pro 100 or even the old series, but the VIP series, unless you absolutely want to plug in a bass or an acoustic guitar, I think the Pro series or the older series is a better series. Man, the Silver Round. Have I ever left a pricey concert because it sucked? No, but I can think of some pretty terrible concerts I've been to. One of the worst ones, not because the act was bad, just the sound was terrible, was Peter Gabriel. They had us tucked up in this corner, and I just couldn't hear the band. I could hear every person around me talking. It was just in such an enclosed area, like way tucked up under this balcony, that we couldn't hear the sound out in the main room. It was awful. It was just awful. I know, right, Peter? I can't believe it. The Cars, you left for the Cars. I saw the Cars live. I tell you who I left a little early, not because they were terrible, but just because they were ridiculously loud, was George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. They played a little club, and they were just, or it might have been the Orpheum Theater, might have been the Orpheum, but they were, or the Opera House, but my God, it was ridiculously loud, like painfully loud, and so loud that it was like all garbled. It was just the worst show ever. Whoever ran that sound that night just should have been fired. Must have been drunk or something. Just cranked it up as loud as it could go. It was like just the worst. The worst. Best Strat for the money. That Player Series is pretty good. I like the Fender MIM Classic Series. Those are always really good. You get those for pretty good short money. The American Standard, you find them out there used around $800. But I tell you can find some of those Classic Series under $500. That's a really good deal for that. And eventually you'll start to see those players out there for around $500 and under, and that'll be a good price on that guitar too. Yeah, Bachman Turner Overdrive, opening for Van Halen. There's a show for you. Left the Creed concert because Scott Stapp was drunk. Yeah, the weirdest thing, the most surreal thing I ever went to was my wife was working as a reporter, and she got tickets to go to a Star Trek convention, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Jonathan Frakes was out there talking, and he was like he had the crowd all whipped up and laughing. He was really good, funny. And we just walked in. We had press passes, so we didn't have seats. We had press passes. So we could go anywhere we wanted. So I walked right down front in front of everyone with my camera. Took a couple of pictures of Frakes in the last, 60 seconds he was on stage. And he was gone pretty quickly. And then out came the chick who played Troy, Marina Sirtis. And when I tell you, she was in no mood to be there. It was surreal. She basically complained about how her cab kept driving around the block, and she didn't want to be there, and I hate doing these things. I mean, it was surreal. And people were sort of laughing and just trying to move past it, but she was not having it. And she said and it's my birthday, and everyone and it started an impromptu singing of Happy Birthday to her, where she stood with a frown on her face, just a grimace. And when it was done, she said, "Don't quit your day job." She goes, "Thanks, don't quit your day jobs," right? To an audience. I mean, we're literally at a Star Trek convention, and it was surreal. And I remember turning to my wife going is this really happening right now? She's like, I know, this is unbelievable. I mean, it's in the days before cell phone cams. This would have been all over the internet, 15 years later or whatever it was. I forget when we did this. It had to be, I forget if it was in the 90s or in the 2000s, but I remember it was at the Heinz Convention Center. And then all these little girls dressed up like Troy, come running down the front. And she rolls her eyes and she goes, "Oh, great. Here come all the little Troys." And I'm like, these poor girls. I mean, it was really bizarre. And we walked out of that. We didn't stick around. We didn't have a seat. And I had taken a couple of photos. And I was like, all right, I've seen enough. This is really... People are literally going to sit here and let this woman insult them. I mean, it was it was crazy. It was crazy. The "don't quit your day job" after everyone sang her happy birthday just felt like the final straw. I tell you, one of the best concerts I've seen a couple of really good shows. One that really surprised me at how good it was we stuck around for Billy Idol after the Cult played, and Steve Stevens pretty much put on a clinic. It was unbelievable. It was so good. And I'll tell you another one that I didn't really expect much from, and they were really, really good, was the Black Crowes. Went to go see them in like 1990 or 1991, and damn, they were killing it. They really, really sounded good. Very early in their career. I swear to God, George, it was just like that. It was just like the Shatner Get a Life. I mean, it really was. It was so like, it was straight out of a satire, but it wasn't. She was completely for real. She was angry. She didn't want to be there. And she just wasn't, she couldn't put on a happy, she couldn't get through it. She just couldn't. And it was just so funny that, like, I don't know. It's like, just skip, I guess, the paycheck, right? She was there for a paycheck. Patrick Stewart's infamous for snubbing Star Trek fans. Yeah, I'm sure he's sick of it. In season 4, episode 13, you clearly hit the button for the turbo lift, and then later on you don't hit it. I mean, is the turbo lift hand activated or not? That's what you're getting. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about, is it Marina Sirtis, the actress from Star Trek, who played Troy in The Next Generation. My wife and I went to a convention because she had press passes, and that woman stood on stage and just like berated the audience. Didn't want to be there, and just berated the audience, and it was ugly. I mean, it was really, really ugly. I'm surprised that, people just were like laughing and just tried to move along with it. I'm surprised no one was really booing. I'm surprised that people, especially in Boston, people just didn't say, hey, enough of that. But they were willing to put up, nerds, right? They're willing to put up with it. But it was, again, in the day of cell phones, she'd be all over the internet. It would be like, Marina Sirtis freaks out. Right? It's 9:03. Yeah, Galaxy Quest. That was a fantastic movie. I loved how they just totally spoofed that whole genre. They did a great job. Big Comic-Con news the other day with The Walking Dead. Yeah. It's, hey, what's up, EVH Gear TV? What's up, buddy? Yeah. The Comic-Con that's in Boston has grown crazy. Now they've moved out of the World Trade Center. Now they're going to be over at the Boston Convention Center, which is massive. That's our biggest convention center by far. That's enormous. But now they've added, there's a whole sort of instead of it's gone from a comic convention to a comic and celebrity convention. So it really, half of the convention just seems to be celebrity autographs. It's going to be the extras from Star Wars and Star Trek and Back to the Future, I think, and all kinds of stuff. So, you know what, dudes? It's 9:04. I know, right? I think it's time. Do you own a V guitar? I've never seen you with one. I did own one for a little while, a Gibson. I had a Gibson Flying V for a short period of time, but we never gelled. And I wound up getting rid of it. Viper Pro review. It's on my to-do list. It's on my bucket list now. All right, guys. Ugh, my arms. There we go. Yeah, Tri-Rack. Everyone's talking about Tri-Racks now. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I'm gonna call it a night. Been great hanging out. The old Vola. I think the strings finally started to settle down in the last like 30 minutes. But I'll probably restring it anyway. These feel like, oh, these might be 10s. Oh, those might be 10s. I'll do a little bit more work on it. Alright, dudes. Fun hangout tonight because it blew by in 2 hours. I can't believe it. It's already been 2 hours. Damn, it's been crazy. Thanks for hanging out all night, Mark. It's been great. Showman, Terry, Frank, everybody. No, you rock. No, you rock. All right. I have to find my stop button. So I have to screw it up. All right, dudes. Yeah, 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's a pretty good stream. It's a nice stream right there. All right, dudes, as always, thanks so much for hanging out. And as always, rock on. Later.